All of this looks so good. What should I get?
I have this chocolate from Brazil you might like.
Oh, wow, that looks great. Thank you.
Thank you. You enjoy.
Oh, I will.
You found the last golden ticket! Quick, run to the factory and don't stop until you get there!
I found the golden ticket. I found the golden ticket.
Congratulations, Pam. You won the free tour. The tour starts right now. Are you ready?
I sure am. Let's go.
You're watching Field Trip.
Whoa, that kind of goes right up your nostrils.
But it really is tailored almost perfectly to be consumed by humans.
Wow. Oh my gosh, it's so good.
Welcome to kind of our back warehouse here at Dick Taylor. This is kind of where we receive all of our ingredients. You see we have cocoa beans all around, and we also do all of our order fulfillment here. So that's kind of where we're located in the building. Do you have any idea where cacao comes from geographically? Like if we were going to distill it down, what would you say?
I would say somewhere tropical, maybe?
Tropical, yeah.
Tropical?
Tropical is good. Generally speaking, from about 20 to 21 degrees north and south latitude. So from the Tropic of Capricorn up to about the Tropic of Cancer.
And so it grows as a tree or a bush or?
It grows as a tree. So the tree is called Theobroma cacao. That's the Latin name of the tree.
Oh, sweet.
And what's interesting is you'll see these pods, which are kind of like the shape of a, like a small football. This fruit grows off of the trunk. So we think of fruit as growing out at the end of the branches when you think of an apple and an orange.
Oh, yes.
The cacao fruit grows off the trunk in what's called a cauliflorous fruiting pattern. Inside here is this white kind of sugary pulp called mucilage, and this is surrounding all the seeds. But the interesting thing is, at this stage, if you were to bite into one of those seeds, there is no chocolate flavor in it at all. And so we have to get some chocolate flavor into those. Do you have any idea how we would do that?
Well, I'm pretty sure you heat them up, or
not yet.
Not yet. Don't do that yet. Okay, so you take them out, you separate them from the mucilage, and then you. Oh, I don't know. Tell me.
We ferment them.
You ferment them.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, so it's really interesting. People don't think of chocolate as being a fermented food, but the fermentation is absolutely critical to developing all that chocolate flavor. Then what we need to do is dry them. And the drying does a couple things. One is it stops the fermentation. If you just let them continue to ferment, then they mold and rot, then it gets gross. But if you can dry them, you'll stop the fermentation and you'll also reduce acidity in the beans, and you're reducing moisture content so that they don't mold when they're being shipped. And they come to us.
Looks like we have a bag here.
Board coming in.
Oh, nice.
Dustin walked this bag all the way from Brazil. He just got back.
You're amazing. Oh my goodness.
Months and months of walking with the hand truck, and here he is.
That is one full bag.
Yeah, that's a full bag of cacao.
Full bag.
We'll kind of do it.
See.
Oh, cool.
A lot of times they'll come in kind of a little liner bag, and then that's what the cocoa beans look
So
like.
these are fermented and dried.
Yeah, you can kind of smell
Wow.
Stick your nose in there. You'll smell kind of like that fruity.
Ooh. Whoa, that kind of goes right up your nostrils. It's like a little alcohol maybe-ish, you know?
Sometimes it's the acetic acid or the vinegar left over from the fermentation.
The vinegar, that's
acetic
it.
acid
That's
from
it.
the bacterial
that
fermentation.
Totally makes sense, yeah, because that's what it felt like.
If you look at the bean, we'll kind of roll it between our fingers here.
Oh, okay.
You could do one too if you want.
Yes, I would love to.
But you'll see that.
Goodness, it requires strength.
Yeah, it is a little tricky.
Okay, I'm ready. You're ready. I'll look at what you have.
Okay, so what we have here is I've got the shell. So the cocoa bean or the seed is technically, we have the shell, which is a papery thin husk.
Yes.
This we use for garden mulch.
Oh, yes.
And then this is what we call the nib. cocoa
Oh, the
nib.
nib.
This is where the magic happens.
This is the chocolate going to
Yep.
be, going
Yep.
to become.
And you can taste it if you want. This is raw, so it hasn't been.
Really?
Yeah, it hasn't been processed at all yet.
Oh my goodness.
But you can taste what raw.
Well, it's okay.
Yeah. It needs something, doesn't it?
It does need something. Yeah, just give me a little sugar.
It needs a lot of work.
I think so.
So now what we need to do is start down the processing train of getting all this stuff
Okay.
ready to be made into chocolate. So the beans all get sorted for quality, and then we're off to kind of our first real like chocolate making step, which is called roasting.
Oh boy.
Field trip trivia.
Fermentation is when bacteria converts sugar into what? Is it A, carbohydrates, B, proteins, or C, alcohol? The answer is C, alcohol.
This is our roasting room. This is where we kind of do the early stages of processing.
It
And-
smells good.
Yeah, that's what happens when you roast. It kind of smells like brownies.
Yeah,
and so
yeah.
By roasting them, we're going to reduce kind of some of those more acidic or the harsh kind of raw flavors.
Yeah.
And we're going to bring up that roasted, nutty cocoa base note. So roasting's really important. It allows us as a chocolate maker to kind of put our signature on that finished bar. This is what the beans look like after they've been roasted. So we have to remove the shell from all of that, and the easiest way for us to do that is to actually crack all the beans up with the shell on into small pieces. And we
Oh.
do that over here. This is a pretty simple kind of a cracker machine, and basically when you look inside here, you can see we've got all that nib that I talked about, but there's also a lot of husk, and there's a lot of dust, and
There
so what
is.
we need to do is we need to separate all these component parts out of it.
Could you separate them by weight?
We separate them by size. Size. And a step called classification. When you separate things into different sizes, you classify them into different sizes. This machine is called our winnower. And just like when you winnow the chaff away from the wheat, we're using airflow to suck that lighter paper-thin shell off of the more dense nib. The nib is more dense, the shell is very light. And we can do it really well if we separate them into particle sizes. So inside here, there's a whole bunch of different screens, and the screens allow us to separate them into like size. And then they come down into these tubes here where the vacuum sucks the shell off. So what we'll do is we're gonna pour some of this in here.
All right.
And you'll see it's gonna start to filter through.
Yes.
And as it cascades through these different layers of screen,
It's shaking.
it's shaking.
Yes.
Yeah. And so it's separating them. And then if you look over here, what we're collecting is
Bigger bits, bigger bits.
yeah, bigger bits of nice roasted nib, no husk. Nice, clean winnowed nib here. Really uniform particle size.
Oh,
as you
yeah.
see it. And then we go over to the other side over here, bigger pieces.
Those are big nibs.
But also no husk in there. So
Right.
we're removing the husk and we're collecting the nib. So this thing kind of just keeps screening, and so we'll collect a whole bunch of this nib here. And now that the shell's been removed, we're ready to make it into chocolate.
Great.
Well, Pam, here we have our bucket of cocoa nibs that have been winnowed and roasted that we brought over from the roasting room.
Yes.
And now we're ready to make them into chocolate. So there we go. Now, one thing that's really interesting about cocoa nibs, and this is something that's really important if you take one thing away from the tour, really remember this. The nibs themselves are made up of almost 50% cocoa butter. So when you look in there, half of that is vegetable fat.
Wow.
Yeah. The other half is the fibrous plant material that we call the cocoa solids. That's where the flavor and the theobromine and a little bit of caffeine, the stuff that makes you feel so good when you eat chocolate. But the cocoa butter is really the flavor delivery system in the chocolate bar.
yes.
It's what melts in your mouth.
Smooth.
It brings all of those solids and all of the sugar, coats all your palate. That's what makes it feel so good in your mouth, is that cocoa butter.
Yes.
But what's amazing about cocoa butter is that it's the only vegetable fat that melts just slightly below the human body temperature. If the melt point of the cocoa butter was slightly lower, just even a little bit, you'd have something like coconut oil. And can you imagine a chocolate bar made with coconut oil?
That wouldn't work.
It would melt in your hand before you could get it to your mouth.
Absolutely. So
Yeah.
it's gonna.
Right, but if the melt
solid.
point was just slightly higher, you'd put it in your mouth and you would chew and chew and chew and chew and chew, and you would never get that sensation of the melting. So whether we were, made to eat chocolate or chocolate was made to be eaten by us, I don't know which side of the argument you fall on, but it really is tailored almost perfectly to be consumed by humans.
Wow.
Field Trip Trivia.
Cocoa butter is one of the main ingredients in a chocolate bar. Do you know what other products contain cocoa butter? Is it A, skin cream, B, toothpaste, or C, shampoo? The answer is all of the above.
So what we need to do now is we need to grind this down into something smooth enough, fine enough, silky enough that we're going to call it chocolate, because right now it doesn't quite look like
It
that.
doesn't,
Yeah.
and I put one in my mouth, and that.
Right. So the
that was
first
kinda
step
hard.
in our kind of our processing here is we're going to grind all this into a paste that's called liquor. All right. So we're going to carry this heavy thing from here, and we're going to put it
I'm
in
glad
the
it's you.
hopper.
I'm glad it's you.
We'll put the nibs in there, and they'll fall down into this little grinding area right here into this machine. So what comes out here, while it's a liquid, is still fairly coarse. So we need to really, really fine grind it is the next step in the process. We actually have some chocolate or some liquor coming out of the ball mill.
Oh my gosh, it is.
It is. We have a little cascade.
Wow.
But this allows the liquor to be really smooth, and then the next step in the process is going to be to add a little sugar in there, sweeten it up, so that we can get closer to something that we like to call chocolate. At this tank here, we're starting to fill this up with a real specific amount of liquor. We weigh every little bit as it goes in here, because right at this point is where we're starting to develop our recipes, and we're going to start to mix things at just the right ratios to get to what we're hoping to achieve in the end. So in this tank, we'll put the liquor in there, we'll put a specific amount of sugar in there. Now for the first time, it's sweet again.
Oh, yay
We
for
like
that.
it. But when we put the sugar in there, it's going to get chunky because the sugar's crystalline. So then what we have to do is completely refine it again through an entirely different machine. But before we do that, we really want to make sure that we hit our recipes right.
Yes.
So in this tank, we've got 350 pounds of the cocoa liquor that we just ground,
Okay.
and we're hoping to make a 72% chocolate bar.
All right.
So we got to figure out, if I've got 350 pounds of liquor, and that's the 72% portion of the bar, the rest of that is just made up of sugar. So I need to know how many pounds of sugar do we have to add to get up to that finished 72% for our chocolate bar.
That's a good question. That sounds like a job for Number Woman.
Thanks, Pam. Let's figure out how much sugar these bars need. So we know that we have 72% of the chocolate bar, so we'll just do approximately 72%. We'll draw a chocolate bar, 72% we know is chocolate. So we'll start with that, and then what we need to figure out is this question mark, how much sugar do we need? So what we do is we take our 350 pounds of chocolate that we know, that's this 350 pounds, right, of that 72%, and we're gonna set it equal to 72%. And 72% is 0.72, because 0.72 is percent per penny, so 72 hundredths. And then that's times the entire bar. But when we do it times the entire bar, what we're doing is we're multiplying, and the inverse of multiply is divide. So we're gonna divide both sides by 0.72 to have the property of equality and balance it. So we know that 0.72 divided by 0.72 is 1, which is the multiplicative identity. And then we'll use a calculator and do 350 divided by 0.72 is about a total of 486 pounds for all of the chocolate bars, right? So if we know we have 486 pounds for the whole thing, and then we know we can subtract 350 pounds, as we see over here, for the 72%, then what we get is about 136 pounds of sugar. So that extra part over here of the bar, that 28% to get to 100% total, is gonna be about 136 pounds of sugar. And then that will make a 72% chocolate bar. And back to you, Pam.
Thanks, number woman. As we talked about here, we get the sugar all mixed in to our specific ratios, but the sugar is chunky again. So what we have to do is refine that whole mixture that comes out of here, and we do that at this machine called a roll refiner. This is kind of a complicated machine, but what it allows us to do is very precisely grind the sugar down to that 18 microns as well. And then the last step is called conching. This is our Carli Montanari R4 rotary conch, one of the most critical steps, and the entire process is conching. Just as roasting was our first chance to impact the flavor of the finished chocolate bar, this is really our last chance to put that final seal of approval on the bar. There's about 880 pounds of chocolate in here right now.
880 pounds.
Yeah, it's
wow.
full. There's a lot of chocolate in there.
Yeah, if you compare it, right.
Yeah. And this process, it takes us 48 hours to conch each batch of chocolate. This machine will run continuously for 48 hours.
Wow.
It's pretty full, so there's not a lot to see, but you can see there's a lot of chocolate swirling around in there.
Wow.
And there's these kind of conical stones that are smearing, almost like you smear butter. And so it's just really breaking down any chunks, any particles that are stuck together, and it's just ensuring that it's all going to be really, really silky and smooth.
And it feels like you're controlling the temperature
We
as well.
are, yeah. Temperature is
feels
very,
warm.
yep. We can control the rotational speed, length of time, and the temperature also is really, really important. So when we're done with that conching process that takes 48 hours, we'll empty the machine out and we'll put them into molds that form them into blocks like this.
This is a huge chocolate bar.
This is 23 pounds of chocolate. Do you think you could bite off the corner of that? Anyway, so this has been fully conched. The texture's great, flavor's great, aroma's great, but it doesn't quite look right.
It doesn't.
No, this looks like when you left the chocolate bar on the dash of your car,
Yeah, it does.
and you come out the next morning and you're like, oh no, my chocolate bar's ruined.
Yeah.
So what we need to do now is remelt these and make
Yes.
them into chocolate bars, and we'll do that in the room across the hall.
Wow, let's go check it out.
All right. Well, Pam, welcome to the molding room.
Why, thank you.
So where we left off in the other room, we had the big block of chocolate that looked like you'd left it on the dash of your car.
Yes.
And it got a little funky looking. And so
did.
what we do in this room is we make it look good again. So now we have to get all of the chocolate to crystallize around one distinct form. And so we do that through a process called tempering. And Dustin is already set up to show us how to do that.
Excellent.
Oh, hi, welcome.
Yeah, hi, Dustin.
All right, so like Adam explained, we have to heat and cool the chocolate, much like tempering metal. You know, we have to align that crystalline structure of the cocoa butter inside the chocolate.
Whoa, time out. Crystalline structure? Tempering? Let's go over these terms. Tempering means to improve the hardness of a material by heating and cooling it. You might have heard of tempered steel when talking about sword making. It's the same thing, except we're talking about chocolate. There are 3 states of matter: solid, liquid, and gas. But in between the states, there are substates. When turning from a liquid to a solid, some substances have a state known as liquid crystal, named for the fact that tiny crystals form in the liquid as it cools, also known as crystalline structures. In the case of chocolate, the cocoa butter forms these crystals. There are 6 phases of crystals in cocoa butter, and you will get a different phase depending on what temperature you cool it to. Phase 6 takes so long to form, we'll just ignore it for now. For chocolate makers, phase 5 is the best. Beginning at a high temperature, so that all the chocolate is in a liquid state, we first lower the temperature to 27 degrees Celsius, just cold enough to form phase 4 and well below the melting point of phase 5. But then we heat it back up to 33 degrees to melt away phase 4 and only leave phase 5. If we only cooled it to 33 degrees to begin with, it would take hours for these crystals to form. By going lower and then back up, we speed up the process. And that's called tempering. Okay, back to the show.
So to get a chocolate bar that has that nice mirror finish, that gloss and the snap is really a complicated process. A lot of people take for granted that your chocolate has that.
Absolutely.
And what else is interesting about chocolate is when it's untempered, the chocolate melts at a lower temperature point as well. So that
So you get it all over your hands.
Yeah, you get it on your hand, it kind of melts at body temperature. Where if you temper the chocolate, all of a sudden it melts at a higher temperature. You can hold on to that chocolate a little bit longer.
Yes.
Melts in your mouth, not in your hands. We have a lot of different methods of doing that, but right now I'm going to show you on our continuous tempering machine. So this is an old Solid chocolate tempering machine from Germany.
Oh, sweet.
And this one does that whole process where it has a heated tank in here, and then it's taking that hot chocolate and cooling it as it continues through in the whole process. So then to turn into chocolate bars, we need chocolate molds. And that's what we've got right here. It's this chocolate mold. So
sweet.
you take this nice tempered chocolate like this, we'll just kind of fill up that mold, fill up that mold, fill up that mold. And then the chocolate's kind of stuck in there. I can either shake it around or I take it over here. And this is just a vibratory table.
Oh my goodness.
This is a paper jogger. It's not even a chocolate machine. We kind of modified just a paper jogger, but you're just trying to vibrate that chocolate in there, get it into the corners of the mold, whack it around until it's nice and even and flat, and you have it all in that space. And then we need to chill this chocolate, so we have a walk-in refrigerator right over here. We would take this chocolate bar into this room. We have these racks, and it'll take about 15 to 20 minutes for that chocolate to then harden up and drop out. Remember, hygiene is critical when making food. Clean hands, clean food. And so once we start dropping out the chocolate bars, they come out. This is about 2,000 chocolate bars.
My
They're on
gosh.
this rack alone. And we'll peel this back, and you can kind of see we put the layers of nice,
Oh, I'm
glossy
drooling.
chocolate bars.
They're beautiful. Wow.
Oh, yeah.
That's incredible. And from a process that looks so messy to something that looks so beautiful and precise.
Oh, it's very rewarding to be at this stage of it and
I'm
start
sure.
because now it starts coming the details of wrapping and making a fine-looking chocolate bar.
Yes.
Out of that
Absolutely.
mess that was out of there.
Oh, yummy. Can I try one?
Oh, of course.
Really?
This is peanut butter.
Oh, my
Oh yeah, there you go. There.
Thank you.
Try that guy.
Oh, look at this. So it
You can just break
it's
off big
beautiful and
pieces
thin.
already.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
See that snap of the chocolate? And
Oh my gosh, it's so good. I think I'll have another.
yeah. Once you work in a chocolate factory, you eat a lot of chocolate. Chocolate balls, and so.
What percent is this of chocolate?
That's our 55% peanut butter. So it's the same recipe as our milk chocolate bar, just with peanut powder instead of milk. And so it's like a peanut butter cup chocolate bar that's just
It's so good.
smooth and creamy and
Very
delicious.
good.
Yeah, yeah. So now we've got all these great chocolate bars that we molded. Now the next step is we need to wrap those chocolate bars and get them ready to go into everybody's hands.
All
so
right.
we'll do that right over in this room. So follow me.
Excellent.
So now we have to wrap these chocolate bars, and the first step to that is the inner part of the wrapper. Normally we used to hand foil every chocolate bar. Take a piece of foil, put a bar on there, and fold it like origami. But in the last few years, we got a nice machine that helps us flow wrap and seal all those so they're airtight. Keeps your
Excellent.
chocolate more sealed, lasts longer, it's fresher. So right over here is this
All
machine.
right.
This is our flow wrapper that wraps these chocolate bars, and you can see where we load in. Our film comes through and is aligned. And then these jaws here are heated, so that starts heat sealing into a tube. And as that chocolate bar goes through there, the heated jaws cut it. So actually, would you like to try that? We have Adam over here is
I would love to.
unloading the
Why don't you
chocolate bars. But
slide in
love
over
to.
here, Pam, and
yeah,
we'll put you to work.
slide on in next
Here
to
I come.
Adam. And
All right, nice. They kind of stick a little tiny bit.
Yeah, you'll develop your technique. Great job.
Okay,
There
thank
you go. Keep
Thank
going.
you. Ah,
Pam, only 2 or 3 more hours, okay? You're gonna be just fine.
help me.
All right, we'll see you later, Pam.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Oh, no, don't do that. Don't do that. No, because it's not going to work. Okay. Wait, they're going to start building up. They're building up. What if I start taking them from here? Oh my God, no,
Oh,
they're
they're
building
piling up.
They're building
Yeah.
Help! Okay. Is that bad for the chocolate bar? Yeah, probably, huh? No, it's going underneath. Okay, cool. Thank you. Awesome. Great.
So this over here is where we do all the packaging and putting our bars in envelopes. This is what we did prior. We've got our
Yes.
bar in a little inner wrapper, and it's nice and sealed, airtight, and so we're really preserving the aroma of that chocolate bar like the day we made it. But now what we need to do is put them in our outer wrapper.
Okay.
And so these envelopes we have made for us in Denver, but they come to us blank like this. So they do all the printing, and the folding and the gluing, and then we have a local business here called Just My Type Letter Press, and
Yes.
she does the hand letter pressing of all. So any of the colored portions on our bars are all still hand letter pressed, which is really kind of a cool touch. So this right now we're doing our Brazil Fazenda Camboa single origin, and we will just take the bars and just slide them in there again and again and again. We got a whole bunch.
Okay.
Of them. And then when we've done that, we end up with a whole box of them like this. And so now we got to put a sticker on the back. So we can pull one of these out of here like
Okay.
this.
Can I do this thing? Yes.
Yep. And then we're going to kind of pre-crease that down over there, making sure that we get a nice
Pre-crease.
fold. And we're going to grab ourselves a sticker.
Oh, huh? Oh my
Yes.
gosh.
And then kind of using this little dotted line, the
Yes,
perforation
dotted line.
We're just going to line that up like that.
Okay.
Stick it down.
Oh my God, I don't want to make a mistake. Oh, well, it's a little off.
Uh-oh.
Oh no, tiny bit.
That's okay. Dustin does all the creative, elements and kind of like that product design and the ideas behind how all this looks. And I oversee all the chocolate making, so it's got to look good, but it's also
Perfect.
you don't want somebody to buy this bar thinking, oh, this is so beautiful, and it's going to be great, and they bite into the chocolate and they're not happy.
Yes,
So Dustin and I are always competing to see who can. I got to make it taste as good as he makes it look.
That's a challenge. I've really appreciated this experience, you guys. The flavors, the smells, the information, it's incredible.
Oh, it was our pleasure.
Yeah, it's been so fun to have you here. We can't wait to have you back.
Oh, I'll be back.
Bye.
When I call action.
I know, I need
Yeah.
my line. I don't
Okay,
even know
yeah,
my line is.
okay. You found the last golden ticket.
Pam, you found the. Oh, do I know her name?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Yeah. All right.
Why can't we have this written down?
It's okay. It's okay.
No.
Pam, you're holding it up. You're excited. Action.
You found the last golden ticket. Quick. I don't know my line.
That's okay. It's okay.